Hey there, it's Ian Koniak. In today's video, I am going to share how to work with a champion. I talk a lot about selling to executives and the importance of getting to power, but in many cases, that's simply impossible, especially if you're selling to a large enterprise. Sometimes the C-suite or SVPs are just simply not going to take a meeting and you have to sell through a champion. So it's really important to make sure that we understand that our champion is indeed a champion, and we understand and make sure that they know how to get deals done. So today I'm going to give you a few tips on how to test whether or not your champion is indeed a champion, and if they are, how to work with them so you can get your deal done and empower them to sell. So my philosophy on this is don't go over people's head unless it's not getting anywhere and unless communication is non-existent. That's one tip, is you know it's a champion when they are having the internal conversations and they are keeping you in the loop and they are keeping you abreast of what's going on, okay? If they're not keeping the loop, if they're going dark, that means probably they don't know and they're stuck. And the first tip is to know you're working with a champion, you have to ask them, how do you get deals done within your organization? So you're going to ask them some questions that are going to help you qualify whether they've gotten successfully approvals for similar products and services. And some things you can ask to quantify this is pretty simple. Number one, have you ever gotten or brought in a software program or a partner of our size or this caliber in the past, and what was that process like? Who did you have to sell to internally? What was the approval process? How long did it take? Did you engage with the vendor directly with those executives, or did you sell internally without them being involved, okay? So if they're a champion, they're going to know the process. They're going to know how things get done. The second telltale whether it's a true champion is they are not going to want to sell alone. They're going to want to help you as a partner build your case and get consensus. So champions are always typically bringing in other people. Maybe they don't have the signing authority or the power, but they certainly have the power to shepherd or to arrange meetings with you and key heads of the business departments or key players that are going to have some influence. So that's how you know if you're working with a champion, is they want to introduce you to other people. They want to grab all of the stakeholders in the organization and get you in front of them. Maybe they're not directly signing or funding this, but at the very least, they're putting you in front of people that are critical. So if you have someone who's blocking you and you're asking to meet with other key executives where simply you need to meet with them to get the information or understand kind of key goals, and they're not allowing you to, and then they don't have those answers that you actually require, that's not a champion. So you really want people that have at least the influence internally to get people to attend a meeting with you at the very least. The next thing is really, once you get those folks that are the other stakeholders, once you get their buy-in, their support, they're involved, there's going to be a selling motion, and the champion has to know where funding is coming from, and they have to know who's actually going to approve this. So I have a great example. I was working with the senior director, and he basically said the CFO has to approve it and then the CEO, and I'm going to meet with both of them. Of course, I tried to get in front and I asked, can I meet with them too to help your case? He's like, no, I've been in this company for 8 years. They want me to meet with the vendors and then meet with them directly. Now, once he had this meeting, he was communicating with me, telling me what's going on. He said, hey, the CFO needs some changes. And sure enough, we made those changes. He represented, got the CFO's buy-in, went to the CEO, and every single day he updated me on how those conversations are going. So that's how you know you're working with a champion, is you're seeing progress in the accounts. You're seeing things really moving forward, and he's keeping you in the loop, or she's keeping the loop as to what's going on. Now, you know you're not working with a champion if they don't know how deals get done, if they haven't done it before, they're not giving you access to power, and they're not communicating along the way. So if those things are happening, then it's probably not a champion. It's very important also to ask the champion, you know, you want to make sure they're willing to basically go to bat for you, and they're selling this hard and they're 100% behind it, right? So I always ask the champion, hey, is this something that you fully support? You know, and are you recommending this, you know, heavily? And you know, if they're giving any hesitation that they're not recommending it, or you know, that they're not going to bat really for this, then that's not a champion either. So you really kind of have to do a sniff test on that. last but not least, I'll say if you don't have a champion, that's when it's time to get to someone else, get to power. Because again, if you're just staying with someone who's not, moving this along, who's not communicating, who doesn't have access to power, then the deal is just going to keep getting pushed out. You're going to get frustrated. You're not going to know what's going on. So in that case, you really want to do get to some of those folks in discovery that you may have met with earlier and see if you can revitalize the deal with them directly, or potentially reach out to a higher level and say, hey, I've been working with this department and team, and I really think what we're talking about is very relevant. I'd love to meet with you too. And you're going to have to just go above and around that champion, but never ever throw that person under the bus. Never speak negatively about them. You always just want to compliment them and say, hey, they've done a great job, and I think it's really relevant that you get involved in this, because I think it's something you need to know about. So hope that helps. Good luck, and I will talk to you guys soon.